started.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Healer's Journey. The wrong place, time, and people is our topic for tonight. And I hope this doesn't scare you, that you run away. But I'm also hoping that this resonates with you in some way, that maybe you felt like you were in the wrong place or somewhere at the wrong time, and maybe even with the wrong people. I can imagine how well, I've been there too. So let's get started. I'm Rosemary Levesque. My business is Second Nature Healing, because healing should be second nature. It should be natural, right? And this is my dog, Gracie. She is also a natural healer, and she works with me in many, many ways. This is my book, Heal Together, Natural Health Solutions for Animals and Their Humans, and I'm in the process of writing another book. I would love to chat with you about it maybe after this recording is finished. I'm also a certified vibrational sound master teacher, and more on that a little later. If you're interested in tuning forks and vibrational medicine that is not medicine, we should talk about that. So I wanted to start out with a picture of this lonely tree here in this, at the top of this creek. Sometimes you feel different, alone, like there's no one with whom you can communicate. I hear this all the time when I'm with other people and I just, start asking questions and talking, or people notice a crystal that I'm wearing. Inevitably, somebody says to me, "Nobody talks about this." It feels so good to talk about this particular subject. And of course, they're talking about feelings and emotions. They're talking about energy. They're talking about healing and all natural things, and intuition and clairvoyance and all of those things nobody talks about. And so when I find myself in a crowd where I'm talking about that or asking questions about that, I get people who are saying, "Wow, I have felt all alone. I have felt like nobody's talking about this." So maybe you feel that way. Maybe you feel different. Maybe you feel alone, like there's no one with whom you can communicate. And it's hard to understand someone when you don't speak the same language. I was talking to a student recently who was asking about friends and old relationships, because he feels different now. He feels like he's changed. And when I spoke with him, I said, it's like when I was in Germany and everybody's speaking German, and I speak English, right? And everybody around me speaking German, I'm not tuning in. It goes right over my head. Well, I speak some German. I speak enough. I pick up a few words here and there. But one day, I was at a cafe, and somebody at a nearby table was speaking English. And wow, it felt so joyous to hear somebody else speaking English. I was in a place where people didn't communicate in the same language as I did, so there was a lack of understanding. And even within English, even within your own language, there can be misunderstandings between the written word and the spoken word. So I'm going to pause just a moment. I want to make sure that everybody can see the screen. One of our participants cannot see the screen, so I like to honor that and give people a moment to catch that. Let me see if I'm doing this properly. Share my screen. Aha, I wasn't sharing my screen. Okay, hang on. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Healer's Journey. The topic for tonight is the wrong place, time, and people. And I just wanted to mention that perhaps you feel like you've been in the wrong place at the wrong time, and maybe even with the wrong people. Were your circumstances in life such that you were making choices that didn't feel comfortable to you? Did you find that even if you had the best of intentions, something wasn't working out for you? We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that today. And I hope you stick around. If you're online live, then we'll have some Q&A afterward. I am Rosemary Levesque. This is my dog, Gracie. We are both very sensitive intuitives, and Gracie works with me as well. This is my book, Heal Together, Natural Health Solutions for Animals and Their Humans. I have another book that's on the way. I'm very excited to be sharing a little bit of that with you later on. I'm also a certified vibrational sound master teacher, working with vibrational, I'll say medicine in quotes, because it's not medicine, it's vibration, Reiki, shamanism, and psychic intuition. It's an interesting combination, and I just hope that it inspires you to connect. Now, in this picture here, if you're watching this presentation, you'll see a lonely tree. And actually, this tree doesn't even have any leaves on it, right? It looks kind of sad there at the end of the creek. And sometimes you may feel like that. Sometimes you may feel different, alone, like there's no one with whom you can communicate. And this struck home with me recently. I was at a conference. It was called the Super Women Summit here in Portland. And boy, the women were excited, and they were, so many wonderful presenters. It was a fabulous seminar. And yet, even among that, there were other things I will comment on a little bit later. But as I was chatting with people, I was asking people questions like, what's your passion, or what's your superpower? And we'd get to chatting, and we'd talk about crystals, and we'd talk about intuition and so forth. And one person said, thank you for talking about this. Nobody talks about this. I have nobody to talk to. Nobody understands any of this. And what she was talking about, of course, was energy, intuition, psychic awareness, crystals, and all of the topics that are common, maybe not common, common among New Agers and empaths and psychic people, energy work. That's kind of a different world, right? And people who are in that world sometimes feel that they are different, and they don't know why. So I wanted to mention that here. Sometimes you might feel different and even alone. And it's hard to understand someone when you don't speak the same language. When I was living in Germany, I spoke some German, but not so fluently, and everybody around me speaking German. And as I sit at a cafe, I hear in the distance somebody at another table speaking English, and I felt such joy that I heard the same language. I could actually understand what was being said. Yes, I was eavesdropping, but only for the joy of hearing the same language. Because when you're in a place where somebody doesn't understand you, it can feel like you're not speaking the same language. So that's a little point I wanted to bring up as well. And of course, it's hard to express yourself when your priorities feel different. In this picture, there's some medication, pills and liquids and things in bottles. And in the front of the picture is an apple. And What is your priority when it comes to health or daily care or diet? Are you more focused on the natural idea? And of course, the apple is the metaphor for an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? But it's not just that. It's eating the foods that are whole, as close to raw as possible, natural, non-GMO, no pesticides, and no contaminants, and maybe even in season, and maybe even local. If you can get down to that minutia of a detail, then you might be feeling more in harmony with nature. And that might be your priority. And how do you talk about that when other people that you run into are talking about their medicines or their trip to the doctor or their diagnosis or their pain? It's hard to express how you feel about that when somebody else has prioritized their care in a different way. I run across this all the time, personally. It's hard to share what you see as beautiful when other people just won't go there. Here's a picture of a green snake, and oh my gosh, so beautiful, so shiny, glistening eyes, and so observant, so sensitive to vibration in its own space, in its own time. Yeah, I might not want it slithering across me, or maybe I would. Maybe I like snakes. I do. I used to spend a lot of time with snakes when I was a kid. And yet there are some people who have such an averse reaction to snakes. Just the idea of, oh, well, snake, how did snake appear in your life today? This actually happened with one of my students who had posted just a post online saying that she had gone into her pool house and wanted to adjust the temperature in the water, and in the pool house was a snake. Freaked her out. She shut the door. You know, she's posting about this. And as her teacher, I thought it was appropriate to mention something about, why is snake showing up in your awareness? That's pretty much all I said. And of course, what I got back was a bunch of paragraphs about what snake stands for in religion, and fear-based, Satan, you know, you name it, right? That's what I was getting back, and I thought, wow, there's some really strong emotion around this concept of snake, and she didn't want to hear. She was not in the place where she could hear that. And here I am saying, wow, there's such beauty in snake. Why is snake showing up in your life? I feel it is Kundalini energy, life force energy, sensitive vibration. Snake is so grounded. You know, where's their heart, right? As they move across the earth, their heart is touching the ground. How grounded in their heart are they? So I think that is a beautiful thing. But, you know, some people just don't want to go there. So it's hard to share sometimes when people don't get it the same way you get it. It's hard to share what you appreciate and find interesting when others don't value the magic. This is a picture of a crystal I own. I actually was looking for it. It's hiding somewhere in my healing center. I want to take it out and bring it with me this week to where I'm going. And, you know, I held this crystal one time, and what it said to me, what I heard so clearly was, I'm a spiritual being in physical form. And then I imagined, or was I imagining, that I was inside the crystal, looking through it, inside this smoky quartz, looking through it and seeing the veil of all that was around me. It was amazing, an amazing experience. It was magical. And yet, how do you share something like that when others don't value that? You know, they don't understand it. And that's okay that they don't understand it. What I'm saying is it's just hard to share what you appreciate and what you find interesting when there are people who don't understand. So you might want something big out of life and measure your success and failures against others. That was very evident at the Superwomen's Conference this past weekend. There were women there who were focused on their success in the corporate world. They wanted to be invited to the table, those were the words, invited to the table of leadership. Well, who's sitting at the table of leadership in the corporate world? Mostly men, right? Again, nothing wrong with that. It's just what it is right now. And these women wanted that. And the whole time this panel was answering questions, I was thinking, go find another table. Go make your own table. Go be the head of a different kind of table. Maybe not even a table. Because success isn't necessarily something you can compare when you're measuring, you know, if you can't really measure your success against somebody else's or your failures against somebody else's, because it's your life, it's your journey. And how do you feel about success? You want a seat at the table where all the successful, deserving, rich, or fun people work. They have it all, right? Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they have more stress too. But you don't communicate, share, or invite others to join you. You don't speak your truth. You isolate yourself, even when you're around other people. What's wrong? There's so many people who feel their differences and feel they feel their gifts and their magic as inadequacies because they can't relate, because what they are good at can't be measured in any scale that a school or a business has. And that's how we've been measured all the time, right? School, business, how much money you earn. That really doesn't determine your success, does it? And yet, people are having trouble speaking their truth about who they are and what they believe. So, what's wrong? You're awakening. There's nothing wrong. You're awakening. You're ready to shine your light. You're creating new pathways and new ways of being. Excuse me. There I go, trying to speak my truth. I find that whenever I start speaking my truth and getting passionate, I feel my throat clogging up a little bit, and I have trouble speaking. So I'm working through that and understanding that maybe I've been squelched at times throughout my life. Are you finding that people have squelched you? They're saying, oh, in a patronizing way, oh, that's nice. Or maybe they don't believe you or they disregard you in some way. Well, it's because you're shining your light. You're creating new pathways and new ways of being. You're relying more on your intuitive brain than your thinking brain. Intuition is, this is a whole book on itself, right? Intuition and thinking. The thought process has been rewarded in our culture. When you think, when you problem solve, when you act a certain way, when you calculate, when you write, you can credit your thinking brain for that. And that's honored, that's rewarded, you get the A+, you get the good job. And yet, behind that, and literally, and not just figuratively, but literally behind that, is the intuitive brain and the cerebellum. And as we rely more on our intuition and allow those ideas and that connection to spirit to manifest, we can surpass, you heard me, surpass the thinking brain. The ideas that we receive intuitively are way better than the ones we could calculate. The ideas and thought patterns and great things that are coming our way that we intuit are way better than what the ego can reveal. So you are unique. You're not alone. You're unique. You are connected to nature and all that is. So that tree that is standing there by itself has roots. It knows where the water is. It knows where the sun comes up, and it reaches its branches for that. It feels the connection to the soil as the nutrients are absorbed by the root system and taken into the tree. It's connected. It responds to weather changes. It responds to the environment around it. And yet it is unique, but it is not alone. Listen, the language you speak and understand is already being spoken. This horse and this cat, they're speaking the same language. They're speaking love, right? And of course, love is universal. Kindness, compassion, understanding, the handshake, the hug, the smile are universal. Listen, look, and all of this is already being spoken. If you are in a place that feels like the wrong place, you're in the wrong time, or you're with the wrong people, are they not smiling? Are they saying words that are not in alignment with what you say? Are they believing things about themselves that you don't believe about yourself? Well, maybe that's not where you belong. Priorities are changing. There is a shift happening right now toward a more natural way of being healthy. Now, I have seen this in some of the articles that are being posted, even about cancer. The people in research are talking about a different way of approaching cancer therapy. It does give one hope for people who are receiving those treatments, because what I'm hearing and what I'm reading is that that kind of cancer therapy is targeting supporting the immune system. Okay, now see me jumping up and down. Support the immune system. I'm all for that, right? Because the immune system is a natural defense. This is a natural way of being healthy. So maybe it's not going to be the drugs so much. Maybe it's going to be a shift back toward the way things used to be. It's happening. Priorities are changing. My priority is go natural as much as possible. Is that yours? And you know beauty for what it really is, without judgment, persecution, or ego. You know when something's beautiful, and everything has beauty in it, so everything is beautiful, right? Because you know it. You hear it, you see it, you feel it. And if it's not beautiful, if it's not in alignment with who you are and where you are and what you are and who you want to be, then don't judge it, because it might be the little kick in the pants that you need to make it be the right way. It might be the little tap on the shoulder saying, hey, notice how you feel about this. Is this really what you want to do? Is this really where you want to be? Are these people really your friends? So pay attention to the tap on the shoulder If something isn't beautiful to you, trust your gut. But without persecution, without judgment, without ego, it is the universe and spirit talking to you in a very special way that you can understand. You feel, hear, and know the magic in all things, because there is magic in all things, in the trees, in the earth, in the wind, in the sun, in the crystals, in all of the people, all of the animals and the elements and the directions. You know that. You feel it and hear it. There is magic in everything. So if somebody just doesn't get it, that's okay. They'll get their tap on the shoulder too. Find your voice. Speak your truth. Find your tribe. Find the people who speak the same language as you. And this was a question that was posed to me. What about my friends? Or, it doesn't have to be friends. What about my past relationship? What about this person that I'm involved with? Well, if you're asking about that, your heart already knows there's something going on, right? Maybe there's not that alignment of truth, not that alignment of beauty, not that alignment of integrity and purity and love. And so finding your tribe, finding the people you can talk to, being able to speak openly about how you feel and your intuitive abilities, being able to share what your belief is. Wow. Find your voice and find your tribe. Other people are hoping that you're the one who speaks up because they might not be ready. But if you're speaking, they're going to say, wow, I'm so glad you said that. I feel that way too. Now, if they don't say that, if they say, what? That's weird. Well, you haven't found your tribe, so don't worry about it. We offer classes and workshops that help open the door to your awakening. Reiki classes, sensory intuition workshops, vibrational sound healing classes are all awakening moments, awakening classes for you. And of course, you can get your wings. We're doing the Illuminated Healer wing activation here in Portland on December 16 and coming up next weekend in Sedona, October 27 and 28. I am very excited to be able to do this with friends of mine in Sedona. Where will your path lead you? This is something I always ask. I'd like you to consider, where is your path leading you? Is it leading you to the table of leadership among others who are thinking, and I'm not saying thinking is a bad thing, but they're fighting for a position where one or two or three have that ability, and I would love to see everybody have a seat at the table. I would love to see everybody feel like they are in alignment to good, to those vibrations. So where is your path leading you? The best way to reach me is through my website, secondnaturehealing.com, or you can email me, rosemary@secondnaturehealing.com. You can register for the Healer's Journey webinar. If you're not already on my list, go ahead and register, and you'll get all of the recordings every few days. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Stay in touch. I would love to hear from you. Bye.